Which way to Boston? Larry! Which way? Larry! Okay!
Who would win in a drinking competition between the Americans and the Brits?
The fact that Scotland said, hold my beer to Boston, and they said we literally can't because we've actually run out of beer.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that Scottish soccer fans drank all the beer in Boston?
I tried to warn the Americans about the British. I tried my absolute best, but apparently no one listens to me.
As you've probably seen by now, Scotland fans have taken over the city of Boston for the World Cup.
Get drunk before the game. We're going to get drunk during the game, and then we're going to get drunk after the game.
Guys, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? If we get through the group stages and we start getting to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, it is going to be carnage.
I've been telling people for so long, there is nobody in this world that parties like British people.
The Americans thought they were ready for the World Cup, and then Scotland and England fans turned up.
One pub recorded that they'd drunk 5,000 beers.
I want to say it!
I don't think there's enough alcohol in America to accommodate the amount of drinking that the British, the Scottish and the Irish are going to do.
How much beer can these Scottish fans be drinking? I don't understand. How much beer do you have to drink for a bar to run out? Aren't there kegs? Crazy. I think we simply aren't drinking enough in Toronto.
It's funny how these Americans were like, oh, we could outdrink the Brits. All 300 million of us could outdrink 65 million Brits or something like that, right? Scottish went to Boston and drank it dry. There's no beer left in Boston no more. It's gone. It's literally gone. In Dallas, the English took over a pub like it was the 1700s again. And they had 5,000 pints and drunk it dry. Oh my God. They had to call the actual police to get them out of there. It was that wild. I have never been so proud to be British in my entire life.
One thing you Europeans have to know when you are visiting Boston or in the US in general for the FIFA World Cup right now, the reason why you guys coming here is such a big deal is because you're literally changing how we do things and see the world and bringing community together. You don't see open drinking here in America. That is very not a thing. Typically that will always be banned. And even if there is open drinking, like it's like the smallest area, right? But no, you Scottish have just taken over the world, it feels like, taken over downtown and made these streets your own as if you were back at home. And that's what makes us so happy. We love to see you guys having fun, and it truly is bringing us so much joy. Petition to have you guys come back. It has truly just been chaos, but in the most organized, fun, respectful way. And even just seeing all the cone hats put on all the statues is just sending me. Even taking away the game yesterday in Fenway and the bagpipe march through Fenway Park is just, we'll never have this again.
The fact that Scotland said, hold my beer to Boston, and they said we literally can't because we've actually run out of beer is the most Scottish thing that has ever happened in the history of Scotland. The fact that Bostonians were like, we think we have enough alcohol to sustain Scotland being here. They've only been there a few days and they have drank the entire city completely dry. There are multiple pubs running out of beers and they are having to get more emergency beer shipped in because they cannot handle how much the Scottish people are drinking. As someone whose dad is Scottish and has Scottish side of the family, yeah, they're pretty solid at it. Like, they are top tier professional drinkers. It is what they were born to do. It is such a ninja skill that they have, and they have perfected over absolute centuries. Boston may think that they drink a lot, but they haven't had the centuries that Scotland have had in terms of practicing. Like, literally, did you know that the phrase shit-faced comes from Scotland, where someone would be stumbling home and it would be around the time that they would be cleaning out their buckets and throwing it out into the sewer in the streets, and they'd yell, "Goddy Lou!" and then they'd all pour their stuff out. And apparently when people were really, really drunk in the middle of the afternoon, they'd be like, "What's that?" And they would look up and they would literally get covered in a bucket of stuff. That is how hardcore the Scots have always been. And now they are showing Boston exactly what it's all about, and I'm obsessed with it.
Seeing the Scots and the English in the US has been my favorite thing to do for the past 6 days. Because what Americans are seeing in the World Cup of how Scottish people and English people behave is the exact reason why I decided to move to the UK. I have been telling people for so long, there is nobody in this world that parties like British people. Americans are so shocked that they are such a good time and they think that this is how they are only during the World Cup. But what they don't know is that British people are like that every weekend, especially if it's sunny. I remember going to London one time to a random bar on a random day, and it was like if it was a World Cup party, like everybody with their hands up, singing along. Like I was shocked. At that time, I didn't even know the song, so I was just standing there in the corner like, what is going on? And another thing that they're noticing is that they don't give a shit what people think about them. They're just here to have a good time. In fact, the more you make fun of them, the more they like you, which is so refreshing for Americans to see. And I am loving this.
I tried to warn the Americans about the British. I tried my absolute best, but apparently no one listens to me. I said that when the World Cup started, the Brits would go over to the US and drink places dry. I said that. And guess what? They have done that very thing. We have the Scots up in Boston that have drunk places dry to the point where they're scrambling to figure out where they can find more booze.
Bar in Boston is scared of England fans. Last week they let every Scotland fan in, and this week we have to queue. There isn't another country that gets wasted. So unfair.
I have been absolutely howling watching some of the Americans' interpretations. Is that the right word? Their impressions of the British football community that are over in America for the World Cup right now. And obviously the Scottish and the Irish as well. Guys, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? If we get through the group stages and we start getting to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, it is going to be carnage. I don't think there's enough alcohol in America to accommodate the amount of drinking that the British, the Scottish and the Irish are going to do. Just to pre-warn you, okay? I hope they are teaching you some fun new songs, which I'm sure they are, because oh my God, I love the build up to the football games. All the old tunes come out like Vindaloo and oh God. It is so much fun. And Lord, if we win, it will be the most epic thing you have ever seen in your entire life. However, if we lose, there's going to be riots, okay? One year, I think we got kicked out, but I think we got beat by Germany. There were riots. There were people like, I'm going to go burn down the kebab shop. I was like, but they're not German. They're Turkish. Like, what's going on? We get through to the final. The more I think about it, I pray that we win because you guys are in trouble. And I will be in America for one of the games as well. I think America's playing on the Saturday, maybe the Friday, and then England's playing on the Saturday, and it's the last game of the group stages. So it should be, I'm excited for the atmosphere. But if I do watch the football game on the Friday, I will be rooting for America as well. So I'll be like, go on guys. But if we get to the finals, I'm England all the way. But I can support both teams for that particular weekend. I feel like you should support where it's being held. That's glad.
Messy. The USA fans have never seen anything messy. When England are coming, drinking their bars dry, then they'll see what messy's about. These USA fans don't know what's going on. Listen, they still call it soccer. Soccer. They're all sat here in England shirts eating chicken wings, drinking one beer. They're terrible. American fans are terrible. Listen, stick to your baseball, stick to your baseball, stick to your hockey, stick to your basketball, and we'll do the football. Come on, England! It's coming home! It's coming home! Come on!
For these folks to drink. Samuel Adams has run out of their lager. They're out of tenants. Nobody's drinking Bud Light though because it's water.
And they're not the only ones running dry.
Pretty much everything. We ran out of everything. Tennent's being number one.
White Bull Tavern may have run out of Scotland's iconic Tennent's beer, but that didn't stop the party.
The fans have been unbelievable. They're great. They're fun. They're drinking, partying, having a great time.
The Scots are absolutely incredible. And so many Americans are finally getting to see what I've been trying to say for a long time. British folks are incredibly kind and an incredibly good time, especially if they have a couple pints in them. Now, things can get a little crazy when you give them their booze. English folks were down in Dallas and the police were pleading for them to get out of a pub after they drank 5,000 beers in one pub. People ask me all the time, who do I think can drink more, Americans or Brits? And if this is not the signification that you needed to see today, I don't know what else will tell you this. Brits can just put down the booze. I've never seen anything like it. There's pubs and bars up in Boston that are selling more booze now than they do on St. Patrick's Day. It's just incredible. It's making me very happy, though, to see folks in the U.S. appreciating all of these folks from around the world coming over and getting to experience that bit of a culture exchange over the game of football. Now, with that being said, when I go back home to America after this trip in the UK, I'll be following along with some World Cup food and fandoms, so you might see a little World Cup content coming from your boy. See ya.
Anglophone Arbin Bad Front Pub in America.
Close all the pubs down here at 10 o'clock. Big queues. You can't drink on the streets. So the update in Boston is all the places are closed now. Police or council has said shut down at 10 o'clock. So yeah, people are just being like pushed out to other areas. Like, that's it.
The Americans thought they were ready for the World Cup, and then Scotland and England fans turned up. Bars running dry, pubs ordering emergency beer, Americans watching thousands of fans march through the streets singing like it's a military operation with beer. And honestly, this might be our greatest cultural export, because let's be fair here, American sports chants are usually just some man shouting 3 words with a microphone. Let's go team! Very moving. Then the Brits arrive. Full songs, insults, rhythm, history, trauma, and 16 pints of confidence. Even the American influencers are starting to notice it. They're realising that football isn't just a game. It's noise, it's chaos, it's humour, it's 50,000 people singing the same thing badly, but somehow perfectly. So yeah, the Yanks are hosting the World Cup, but England and Scotland fans, they are giving the masterclass. Beer gone, voices gone, culture delivered. You're welcome, America.
The fact that Scottish fans just drank all the beer in Boston is the most funny thing I've ever seen. You know when people say, oh my god, we're going to Miami, Miami is not ready for us. I think Scotland fans are the only people in this world that when they say a place is not ready for them, they mean it. Okay, I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. That is so hilarious. Miami, watch out. By the way, just going to throw it out there, the last time I was in Miami, there was I think it was in the Walmart in Miami, they actually sell Iron Brew in one of the international food aisles. They also sell Tunnocks tea cakes. So if any of the Scotland fans or the Tartan Army, when they get to Miami, they see this Walmart in the downtown of Miami, I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm positive. Somebody will need to fact check me on it, but I was there, I seen it, I bought an Iron Brew when I was there in like 2022 or 2023, so go check that out. But yeah, watch out for the Tartan Army, this is going to be wild. And imagine Brazil and Scotland fans in the same city. It's going to be Carnival 2.0 on steroids.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that Scottish soccer fans drank all the beer in Boston? Apparently, a bunch of bars and stores ran out of beer because there were so many Scottish people there visiting for the 2026 World Cup. And they were drinking so much beer that a bunch of places just completely ran out of it. They're saying that the alcohol sales tripled what Boston would normally do on St. Patrick's Day. Do you understand how much alcohol needs to be consumed to triple the amount of alcohol sales that Boston has on St. Patrick's Day? Look, I've been to Boston on St. Patrick's Day. It is not one of those cities where they don't drink that much. Pretty much all they they do is drink. It is literally one of my favorite places to be on St. Patrick's Day because they drink so much. And you're telling me that a bunch of people from Scotland came and drank the city dry? Look, I don't care who you are or where you're coming from. That is impressive. There are plenty of great drinking stories out there, but this may go down in history as one of the best ones ever. You came to a city and completely drank it dry, and that city was Boston. To all the Scottish people out there, I just want to say I am extremely impressed. Good for you.
The Scots drank all the beer in Boston. Scottish fans that went to Boston to watch the World Cup drank the city dry. The U.S. doesn't understand European drinking culture. We think that we drink a lot of beer. We play our beer games. No. They're on a whole nother level. They drink beer instead of water. When they came out of the womb, they didn't drink breast milk. They started with beer straight from the source. I think the only beer left after that was Coors Light. Restaurants even started asking patrons to bring their own drinks. BYOB bars to watch the games. That's ridiculous. Boston is all Irish descendants too. Like, that's the city that you'd think would drink the most beer, especially during peak sports season. No.
Nothing makes me prouder to be British than watching the videos of the England fans taking over American bars. Watching videos on TikTok of American people absolutely flabbergasted at the way the British act and scream and shout when it comes to football. And you know what? It makes me so proud. England is an absolute shit show at the moment, right? An absolute shit show. But if there's one thing that brings us together, it's a beer, an England football match, and to scream it's coming home.
I've literally just seen this video on TikTok about the World Cup and the Brits being in America and then running out of beer. One pub recorded that they drunk 5,000 beers in one sitting. That's insane. No one touched the Bud Light though. They've got plenty of that crap still there. But yeah, I think they've been drinking Tennent's or something like that, because that was the only thing that they really have. But I like my Stella, to be honest with you, or a bit of Cruz Campo. But oh my God, seriously, they are drinking the place completely dry, and bloody good on them as well, because so far we've done pretty well. I know it's only one game, but there you go. God forbid if we ever won it. I don't know how much drink they'd actually go through, but it's actually quite funny to watch. And guys, keep on drinking.
The best part about England drawing with Ghana was that there wasn't a drop of beer spilled. One thing I cannot get my head around, and it seems to only be in England. The fans are watching at home in the pub. There's a lot of them. There's a big screen. It's great crack. A goal goes in and everyone's pint goes in the air. I would get it maybe if it was the World Cup final and you got the winning goal. But every single time a goal goes in, every single person throws the beer in the air, and it infuriates me. Think of the beer. Yeah, great crack. We've scored. Pints go up in the air. What now? Now I have to go and queue up in that busy bar for about half an hour to get another pint. I don't get it, lads. It wouldn't happen in Ireland. It wouldn't even matter if we got to the World Cup final and we scored in the last minute to win the World Cup. Not a drop would be spilt. Can anyone explain it? I don't get it.
Boston, you let yourself down. And America, if you are going to get into football, soccer, you have to understand the banter between different teams. And we get it. You are endeared by the Scottish fans, and I don't blame you. They are good people. They are fun, welcoming, and a great crack, as you could see. It looked like the people from Boston and the Scottish were having the best time. And if I was an England fan out there, I'd have been looking forward to going out to Boston and having a piece of that. So it would have been a massive shock to me to get out there and to be met with a sceptical welcome. Because you say you was welcoming to the England fans, yet it was like the equivalent of going out on a date with someone, but speaking about your ex, and then saying, why can't you be more like them? Because you clearly came with a preconceived idea of what England fans would be like. And don't pretend you didn't, because all I hear in videos is, the Scots warned us about you. The Scots were right about you, when really, All the English did was bite back with a bit of football banter, a bit of back and forth between the two teams. But you saw that as an insult to Scotland. But you're completely ignoring the fact that Scotland fans were singing about the England or England players. That was okay. But when England did it, it wasn't okay because they'd insulted your new best buddies. And in my eyes, that was weak. Because if you understand football banter, you will know that there was always going to be a back and forth between England and Scotland. The same way you would have a back and forth between Arsenal and Tottenham or Sunderland and Newcastle. For me, deep down, there's no hate. There is no hate. Look, there's going to be Scotland fans who tell you, yeah, I hate England, but that's for them. I'm not getting involved in that nonsense. But the banter between two teams should be just left as that. It doesn't get personal. It's just a laugh and a joke. And from what I saw of the England chants about Scotland, it was witty. It was a bite back at the fact they saw that Scotland fans had a great time with Boston and they said, we're going to match it. We're going to do better. How is that insulting Scotland? If you don't get the banter, like, just move on. Other than that, you have to understand that this is what these two teams do. And all I'm seeing is videos of Americans saying, we told you, we warned you not to insult Scotland, we warned you. Like, get a grip, man. Then when I see videos of people trying to claim that the reason why the Irish people out there would have shut the bars is because of the genocide from 200 years ago. And if you don't understand your history, you better get to know. What the hell? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You want to talk about genocide? In step the Native American. You want to talk about holding a grudge? How about the fact that your country was built off the back of slavery? But we don't want to bring politics and all that stuff into football. It's just football. But you made it something else. You judged the England fans before they got there, and the minute they did something that you felt was out of line when it wasn't, you shut it all down. And for me, that is weak. And now all your preconceptions of what England fans are like are being absolutely poo-pooed when you're seeing videos with the England and Ghana fans and them having fun. England are not Scotland, just like Scotland are not Ireland and Ireland are not Wales. They are all completely different, but they are all good people. And if you would have given England a chance, you would have had fun with them. We're not talking about competition. We're not talking about, was it more fun with the Scots or more fun with England? Who cares? It's just about having fun and meeting new people. But you spoil it. Are England fan angels? No, they're not. But there's one or two. But from what I've seen of this World Cup, I've seen no reports about England fans being bad. Then I see comments about hooliganism. Like, what is this, the late 80s, early 90s? This ain't Green Street, mate. Those people wouldn't even been allowed on a plane, let alone into the country. So you're definitely barking up the wrong tree with that one. As I said, the England fans have gone on to show that they are out there to have a good time. And if you give them a chance, you could have a good time with them. And I hope to God, if England do go back to Boston, we don't see all this nonsense again. Because it shouldn't be a situation where it's just one-sided and we're just backing the Scots. You should have your hometown or city open to every single country that comes out there. So you can have a different slice of what different people are like from different parts of the world. Rather than coming with your preconceived ideas of what they are like and ultimately not giving them a chance before they've even done anything.
I just have a genuine question for the Scottish. Like, how are y'all dealing with alcoholism in Scotland? Because they came to the United States and drank Boston dry. Okay? And I'm not joking. As in, like, they had no more beer left. Okay? The distributor ran out of beer. Okay? They had to send in emergency packages of beer because the Scottish were drinking up. How y'all drink a whole state out of alcohol, beer? Like, how y'all dealing with alcoholism over there? Do y'all have it? Like, seriously, that's insane. Now, granted, I know they are having a great time. We are so happy that they're here. We are loving seeing everything that they are doing, all of their new experiences. You know, you have the guy who just found lemon pepper wings, and he's like, he is not going back. I enjoy seeing all of their new experiences. But how did y'all drink them out of alcohol?
Let me see this thing. That's wild. Go on, give it a squeeze. Here we go. That's unreal. Right, you want to see this guy? Yeah, beer jacket.
Boston bars are literally running out of beer because Scottish fans are out drinking the amount of beer Boston bars have for the World Cup. Scottish soccer fans, also known as the Tartan Army, have descended on the city. The Scotland national team is playing for the World Cup in Foxborough, right near Boston, and so fans are all over the city drinking beer. For perspective, according to local reports, the Samuel Adams downtown Boston tap room reported that in a 4-day stretch, the Tartan Army drank 4 times as much Boston lager than any typical 4-day holiday stretch. The Tartan Army is drinking more beer than Americans do in Boston on 4th of July. Bars now have to get emergency deliveries of kegs and beers to keep up with the amount of demand there is. It's truly an unprecedented situation, but it also shows how much Scottish fans really love their team right now. As always, spread the word and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come very soon.
Someone please do a wellness check for me and check on Scottish soccer fans in Boston right now, because apparently they've drank every beer in Boston this week. Until this year, the Scottish national team hadn't made a World Cup since 1998, and, well, the Scottish fans are making up for about 30 years of lost time. The Samuel Adams tap room in downtown Boston completely ran out of their signature Boston lager after Scottish fans drank nearly 90 kegs. 90! The brewery said that Scottish fans consumed 4 times more beer than they normally sell during a major holiday weekend. And it definitely wasn't just the Sam Adams tap room. Another Boston bar that's been open for over 30 years said they'd never seen anything like it. Their exact quote, "We tripled St. Patrick's Day." Think about that. They tripled St. Patrick's Day in Boston. There's a lot of beer flowing on that day, let me tell you. So Scotland probably won't win this World Cup, but they've definitely won the hearts of everyone who has watched them enjoy the hell out of this World Cup. And that absolutely counts for something.
Imagine if your city ran out of beer less than a week into the World Cup. Because that is what is happening right now in the city of Boston, thanks to Scotland fans. As you've probably seen by now, Scotland fans have taken over the city of Boston for the World Cup. And with 6 days in between tournament games in Boston, they have done nothing but sit at the pub and drink beers every single day.
The Scottish fans, they fucking did it. They drank all the beer in Boston, you guys. I was joking that they were going to do it, and they fucking did it. I mean, I think there was like Budweiser left over, but let's be fair. There's no good beer. There's no good beer. So Americans can he keep up with the sesh? The Scots, they set a goal for themselves and they achieved it. That's so much drinking. That is, and you know, like all the bars, they probably ordered more because they're like, oh, there's a lot of Scottish people coming, and they didn't order enough. And it's not like Boston is not a light drinking place. It's not like Utah. It's got Irish people in it, Irish Boston people, so they already drank a lot. So holy shit, holy shit, that was an epic sesh, you guys. Congratulations. America, do better. I'm kidding. You don't actually have to match them. No means no.
To the point where multiple popular pubs in Boston are reporting beer shortages, and others reporting that opening weekend sales for the World Cup tripled that of St. Patrick's Day. This is what the World Cup is all about, people. International nations sharing their passions with us North Americans in a way that is absolutely incredible. If you live in Boston and are seeing this video, please let me know in the comments how electric this Scotland takeover of your city has been.
Get drunk before the game. We're going to get drunk during the game, and then we're going to get drunk after the game. But all that matters is England wins today. Hi, I love this beer in this country, by the way. It's really good.
You had any Texas barbecue yet?
I had Texas barbecue yesterday. I had a lovely bit of brisket.
Tell me about it. What was your experience? Was it what you expected?
I went fatties. Do you go fatty or lean?
Oh, yeah.
I went fatty. I went to slow bone, picked it up, put the sauce on it, dropped it in the mouth.
melted in my mouth. It was absolutely beautiful. It's the best beef I've had in my life.
Did you try any of the other fixins with it or no?
I had a pork chop, I had some pork ribs,
Okay.
I had mac and cheese. The mac and cheese was average though.
Oh, yikes.
And the other thing is, what's this Brussels sprouts gratin about? We have Brussels sprouts at Christmas in England. Why'd you have it on your barbecue? I don't know.
We have what I believe is a definitive answer to the question: who would win in a drinking competition between the Americans and the Brits? Exhibit A.
Believe it or not, but the city of Boston is actually running out of beer right now.
There's even one bar that says they tripled their sales from St. Patrick's Day.
A quote from the chief operating officer at Hennessy's Bar in downtown Boston, who says, "We've been here for over 30 years and we've never seen anything like it. We tripled St. Patrick's Day over the weekend with the Scottish visitors." She also added they brought back fun that was lost. On Sunday night, Hennessy sold out of beer. The bar got a delivery to re-up Monday, and another one is slated for Thursday in time for the next weekend of soccer matches. Federal Wine and Spirits sold out of several popular beer brands. At one point, the owner said a patron walked in and bought 2 bottles of water, and 20 Scottish shoppers inside the store booed her.
Now, it's been nearly 20 years since Scotland last qualified for a World Cup, and now they are making up for lost time.
There was no beer. The Scots fans just drunk the place dry, and all they had was like Bud Light.
So right now the Scots are in Boston for the World Cup, and they are drinking the town absolutely dry.
Sam Adams downtown ran out of their signature Boston lager over the weekend and needed an emergency delivery to keep up with World Cup fans.
What a night. Just a brilliant group of people. Still singing from the break. The song's been over for minutes.
We know how to have fun. Now, if there was a drinking competition between the Americans and the Brits, it's obvious the Brits would win, of course, with the help of a handful of Scottish football fans. Good luck, boys.
Need reassurances from the mayor of Boston that there will be sufficient alcohol.
Hey, pal! Which way to Boston? That way! Which way? That way!
Scotland's on fire! Your defense is gonna fire! Scotland's on fire! Your defense is gonna fire! Scotland's on fire! Your defense is gonna fire! Scotland's on fire!
Perhaps that is exactly why those videos have been shared so widely, because the story behind them is not really just about pints of beer. In truth, they are telling the story of a fascinating meeting between two very different cultures, and it could hardly have unfolded in a more entertaining way. For many Americans, seeing thousands of English football supporters descend on a city is something they had almost never witnessed firsthand before. They expected to meet proper football fans. Instead, what they saw were endless bouts of singing, pubs packed from midday until late at night, chants echoing through the streets, and pints of beer disappearing from the bar almost as soon as they had been poured. First came the Scotland supporters. On social media, plenty of people joked that they had almost drunk Boston dry. Then, before the Americans had even had time to catch their breath, the England fans arrived. Straight away, people online began joking that this lot had turned up to finish off whatever beer the Scots had left behind. Of course, that was just a bit of playful exaggeration. No city actually ran out of beer. But that reaction says a great deal about the unforgettable experience many Americans had just witnessed. For English football fans, all of this is simply a familiar part of football culture. A pub is not just somewhere you pop into for a drink. It is where mates gather before kickoff. It is where supporters of rival teams wind each other up with good humor. It is also where the songs start long before the players walk out onto the pitch. And it is there, too, that memories are made, sometimes lasting far longer than the result of the match itself. But for many Americans, that level of passion, along with the amount of beer consumed in such an atmosphere, was something entirely new. So it is hardly surprising that TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube were soon flooded with videos capturing their reactions. Some people were wide-eyed with amazement, some burst out laughing, others could barely believe that so many pints could keep being served one after another. And plenty of people admitted they had never seen a sporting event create such a lively atmosphere. The best thing about moments like these is that they remind us why football is the biggest sport on the planet. It is not just about the 90 minutes on the pitch. It is about the fans, the traditions, and that very particular sense of humor. It is the full-throated support from the stands and the streets. It is the unexpected friendships formed in pubs between people who were complete strangers only moments before. It is that special atmosphere which English supporters seem to carry with them wherever they go. Whether you are from Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, or America, it is hard not to smile when you see thousands of people enjoying themselves, sharing stories, singing together, and turning what might have been an ordinary weekend into a memory the whole city will talk about for a long time. So perhaps Americans were not simply watching people drink a great deal of beer. Perhaps they were witnessing one of England's finest exports firsthand, football culture. And judging by the reaction online, they enjoyed every minute of it. Until the next away trip, bartenders across America might want to think about ordering in a few extra kegs.